You ever wonder when it actually happens? Not the act itself, but the decision, that hidden, unspoken moment where a woman, without saying a word, already knows. The moment she's already made up her mind about whether she'd ever sleep with you or not. Psychology says there's a moment, a specific one. It's not random, it's not an accident, it's not even emotional in the way we think. It's instinct, fast, unconscious, and almost impossible to fake your way through. So let's talk about it. Not in a creepy way, not in a way that objectifies or oversimplifies. Let's talk about it like grown adults, with curiosity, with honesty. Because this is where psychology gets real. I remember a story a therapist once shared in a psychology lecture. She said, "A woman came into my office crying, saying, 'I knew he wasn't right for me the moment I met him, but I still dated him for 2 years. That stuck with me. Because it raises the real question, when do we actually decide what we want? And more importantly, why do we ignore it sometimes? But here's the wild part. When it comes to attraction, especially sexual attraction, the decision is almost always made way faster than most people think. We're talking seconds, not minutes, not hours, seconds. And in those seconds, a woman has already picked up on dozens of cues. Your posture, your voice, your presence, your energy. That moment, that's the one we're digging into today. Here's what psychology shows us. Research from behavioral psychologists and neuroscientists has revealed that we form first impressions within 1/10 of a second. That's 100 milliseconds. That's faster than a blink. In fact, brain scans show that when someone sees a potential romantic partner, specific areas of the brain light up, especially the amygdala and the hypothalamus. The amygdala reacts to emotion. The hypothalamus? That's all about attraction and desire, and it lights up right away. Before she even knows why, her brain has already scanned your facial symmetry, vocal tonality, body language, grooming, confidence, and made a preliminary decision. That decision may change later, sure, but first impressions, they don't just count, they lead. You know when people say, "I just got a vibe from him"? That vibe isn't mystical. It's a neurological cocktail of subtle signals. And here's the real kicker. Women, on average, are far better at reading those signals than men. Not because they're psychic, because evolution trained them to be. I'll tell you about my friend Lauren. We've known each other for years. She once said something that made me stop in my tracks. She said, "If a guy walks up to me and I feel safe and curious at the same time, I know within seconds whether I'd ever go there with him. I may not act on it. I may ignore it, but I know." I asked her, "How?" She said, "It's not one thing, it's everything. It's how he looks at me, how he holds space, whether he's grounded or performative. It's how he makes me feel without even trying." That right there, that's it. It's not just looks. It's not money. It's not lines. It's presence. Let's back that up. Dr. Helen Fisher, a biological anthropologist who studies romantic attraction, explains that sexual desire isn't just about physical appearance. It's about neurological compatibility. There's a primal part of the brain, called the limbic system, that processes non-verbal cues. When a woman meets a man, her brain is scanning for a lot more than abs or a jawline. She's checking for strength, yes, but also warmth, calmness, confidence that doesn't scream for attention. That's what creates the split-second decision. And it's why some guys who might not be objectively attractive still make women feel drawn in. It's how they show up. Let me tell you about Jordan. Average guy, shorter than most, not conventionally handsome. But the moment he walks into a room, something happens. He doesn't try to dominate the space. He owns it gently. He listens more than he speaks. He maintains eye contact, but it's soft, not intense. And when he talks, there's this calm, certainty in his voice. No performance, no bragging, just presence. Women notice that, not because he's flashy, but because he makes them feel something right away, safe and intrigued. And that's where the decision happens. Because when a woman feels both safe and turned on at the same time, it's game over. Her brain has already fired off that signal. So here's what's fascinating. The exact second a woman decides if she could see herself being intimate with someone, it's often not a second she's aware of. It's unconscious, intuitive, but it's there, in the first handshake, in the first laugh, in the way a man talks to the server, in whether he checks his phone or looks her in the eyes. She picks up on all of it, and whether she admits it or not, her body and brain have already logged a yes, no, or maybe. And if it's a maybe, everything that happens after only confirms or denies it. You ever had that moment where you were on a date and things were going great, but you could tell the spark wasn't there? Or maybe it was there, and you didn't even realize why. That's this moment. The one where desire isn't about manipulation or performance, it's about resonance. A woman doesn't need to be convinced, she needs to feel. And that feeling often arrives in the first few seconds. Now let's be clear, this isn't some magic trick. It's biology mixed with psychology. It's the dance between dopamine, serotonin, and oxytocin. It's her body deciding whether it feels emotionally and physically safe. It's her nervous system saying, do I want to open up or close off? It's instinct and experience. Because women aren't just reacting to you, they're reacting to the entire context. What you say, how you say it, whether you listen, whether you respect her space. And that's why you can't fake it, because the body knows. So if you're wondering how to trigger that decision in your favor, don't. Because it's not about control. It's about congruence. It's about doing your own work, learning to show up grounded, confident, and kind, not to impress, but to be. The second she decides, that's not in your hands, but how you show up in those seconds, that is, and that makes all the difference. I once asked a group of women, how long does it take you to decide if you're open to the idea of intimacy with someone? They laughed. One of them said, honestly, before he even sits down. Another said, sometimes, by the way he opens the door. But they all agreed, if a man is calm in himself, respectful of her energy, and present in his own skin, he doesn't have to ask, because the answer's already there. So the exact second, it's not when she smiles, it's not when she says yes to a drink, it's not even when she leans in, it's before all that. It's when her nervous system reads yours, and it says, I feel good here. That's it. That's the moment. And most men miss it, not because they don't care, but because they're too busy trying instead of just being. So slow down, be still, be present, and let her decide. She already knows. If this resonated with you, if you're starting to realize that connection isn't about performance, but presence, then maybe it's time to shift how you show up, not just for her, but for you. And if you like this video, I've got more conversations coming. Honest ones, real ones. The kind that help you stop chasing and start connecting. So hit subscribe. Stick around. We're just getting started.